So, welcome to Cooking with Jesus. My name's Adele. This is my second YouTube channel, and I decided to just do something different to lighten the mood. Sharing some stories, some life situations as a believer in Jesus, and cook because those are my favorite things. Actually, baking more than cooking, but I'm trying to cook more. It's kind of hard when you're so used to cooking for everybody that's around, and now I gotta cook for one. So that's a little bit difficult, but we'll figure it out. I know I always have leftovers, and I can always give things away. But today I am going to make a pot roast. And before I get started on a pot roast, I want to fry up some bacon. Because I want to use that grease to sear the edges. After I put my rub on there, I'm going to sear it up real good and then put it in the crock pot. So I'm not really set up for, a cooking show. This is just going to be on a whim. And hopefully you guys all like it, and you can tell me where you're from and tell me what you like to bake and what you like to talk about. I'd love to get to know you. And so this is the big old roast that we are going to be cooking later. And these are my thick slices of bacon. I love bacon. And let's just get started. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to chop up all this bacon into tiny little bits. I like to wear gloves because I do not like to have grease on my fingers. I truly wash my hands way too much anyways, and they just dry out super quick. But I like to chop up my bacon, and when I'm going to use it for soups, anything like that. Like let's say I was going to make some fried chicken for dinner, I would take up some bacon and save my bacon grease from the morning and use that to fry in, and it is absolutely delicious. Who doesn't like bacon, right? I've never met a person that didn't like bacon. But I'm going to finish cutting this up and get it in the pan. And here we go into the pan. All right, so I am going to take my big bag of pot roast right here, and I'm going to just open this up over this sink so I don't get all the blood juice everywhere, and take this out and just kind of let that go. And I don't know about you all, or if you rinse off your meat or whatever. I am going to just a little bit because it has a lot on it. And then I'm just going to stick this in here. I do like to wash my gloves so I don't have to keep putting on a new pair. And then, of course, you got to go back and disinfect everything, but just the same. I'm going to keep a rolling. So once I've done that, I like to pat this dry just a little bit with a paper towel before I put my seasonings on it. And I already opened up the seasonings that I'm going to use just so that way I don't have to like touch the inside of the lid and everything like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw this away real quick. And I'm going to start with the salt. I have a kosher sea salt that I'm going to use. And salt is really, really good. I'm going to have to use the other side. To break down and tenderize meat. So I kind of like getting that all in there. Kind of press it down. And that will help tenderize it. I'm going to rinse off again. And this is me I wash my hands continuously when I'm cooking. It's a little bit of a OCD problem, I think. But I just don't want to like recontaminate everything. This is Kinder's Hickory Brown Sugar, and I really, really like this. It's a good rub. I like coffee rubs too. Those are really the greatest, those coffee rubs. This is a little bit of brown sugar and bourbon. And as I'm sprinkling this in, this is actually falling to the side, and that'll help me coat the sides and the bottom. Oh, I don't know if you guys ever use this, but I love putting it on everything. It is garlic parmesan seasoning, and it is magnificent. And sweet paprika, which I'm just about out of, but I love this too. Gotta have a little bit of pepper. And to give you a little inside look, that's what it looks like so far. And I'm going to get all the sides and pat that down in there. You know, I wanted the seasonings to really get into the meat. And then what falls off the top, I can get onto the sides. Just so. And then I'm going to take some saran wrap and cover it up, but I'm not going to put it in the fridge. I am going to let it get more room temperature, so that way all the seasonings get in there, and that way when my bacon's all done, I can brown it, and then I can put it in my crock pot. I'll be right back. All right, beautiful people, I am back. I have the pot roast covered. It's sitting. I'm frying bacon. And now I just want to talk about Jesus in a little situation that I'm in. You guys, some of you may be able to relate to this. Have someone in your life that likes to guilt trip you or manipulate you into doing things, or constantly helping or bailing them out and so forth. I have a little situation like that in my life. And a lot of times this person will use my faith in God against me. You know, basically, it's kind of like one of the things that's been said to me is that I've been praying, but it must not be working because, you know, my situation's not getting any better. Well, God isn't like a genie in the bottle, you know. Living a Christ-like life is actually having a relationship with the Lord. And we have a relationship with the Lord by reading the Word of God. And the Word actually directs us on how to deal with all kinds of situations, and like this one that I'm going through. You know, we're told to be generous givers, you know, give with a gracious heart. You know, if someone asks you for food, you give them food. If they ask for water and so forth, you feed them, you give them shelter. But it does not say that to be manipulated or to be partakers in someone's evil deeds or be unequally yoked with anybody. That doesn't have to be just a husband and wife. That can be a friend, a relative too. So regardless, I have to answer to God with every choice I make. I can't just feed someone's addiction. I can't enable someone. You know, the thing, you know, I don't want to name names or say anything like that. So I'm just trying to keep this, you know, just level, because it doesn't matter who it is. If you have someone like this in your life, it doesn't matter if they're a relative or non-relative. It don't. But this person I have helped my whole life. And this person has always been hateful to me, always been mean, always been manipulative. I could never do enough to earn any kind of love, although it'll be spoken, said, oh, yeah, I love you. No, no. But that's okay. That's okay. We're to love our enemies. And when this person's hungry, I feed them. With bills and car situations, all of it. I don't even know how much. I mean, it's been a lot. Just in August, 4 new tires, a rim, an alignment. None of those things are cheap. But then this morning, I received a message with someone making assumptions of what my life is like, what my finances are. And I don't even know where these assumptions came from, but they're not as they are said. My situation, I'm very blessed that God has given me the ability to help this person. But I still have my own bills to pay. I still have, my health that I have to take care of, my own family. And this person's older than me. It's crazy to have someone say, you have this, and this. I could really use some help here because I overspent on this. Why would you do that? I mean, one, if you needed help, why would you throw up what someone else has to their face? What does that do? And then end after asking for help, love you, bye. So I'm like dumbfounded, and I have not found the words to respond yet, because I mean, when someone does something, our first reaction is to react in the flesh. Someone attacks you, you get defensive. You could say a lot of things that you don't mean or later regret. And I don't like to do that. And I'm one of those people, if I say something and hurt someone's feelings, I'm probably going to be more hurt about it than they are. That's just who I am. But, I'm praying on it. And, the scripture that I'm looking at, we are to be wise as serpents and gentle as doves, meaning there has to be a way to say, look, I've done all that I can do and I can't do anymore, because I have my own responsibilities. But needless to say, you don't have to tell someone your financial situation to walk away from this. You can talk and say, you know what, look, I cannot give you money, but if you need groceries, I can bring you some groceries. You want to leave an open door for mercy and grace. Because, I mean, think about this. Jesus forgives all of our sins. I mean, we fall short every day. We sin every day. I mean, whether it's in thought, action, deed, we're sinners. We're in this sin-tent body, And, if you get angry or hate, I mean, those are described as hating your brother is the same as murder in the word. So we have to have mercy and grace for others, because you know what? Jesus gives us that. So when we fall short, we can say, Jesus, I'm sorry, I made these mistakes. And guess what? He is so open and loving to forgive, and not remember your sin no more. That's one of the things that we struggle with. And with this conversation, I'm sure you've captured. It's not that I'm trying to keep record of wrong, but want to paint a scenario of what a situation can look like and how we navigate it. I am so blessed that God has not made me jaded towards others, where I can not bring up, and I've never brought up what all I've done. I won't do that. And I've never asked for anything back, no payment back or anything, because usually someone who's in desperate need of something don't have money to pay you back. They're just always in a hole because they keep borrowing and that, just trying to survive. So they never get ahead. So sometimes you might have someone that's helped you out in the past, and you may not help that person because that time in your life you had no way to, but your life circumstance changed and you may be able to help someone else. So it's kind of like giving it forward instead of giving it back. And never ever give anything expecting something in return. Do it out of love and the gift that God gave you. There's a parable in the Bible where God gives 3 men different talents. He gives 10 to one, 5 to another, and 1 to another. And it was all based on according to what they could handle. Okay. So obviously the person with 10 was able to handle quite a bit, And so when he came back, and this is told as like a servant did this, and then when he came back, he wanted to see what his return on investment was. And so the guy with the 10 had doubled his investment, so he's like, good and faithful servant, thank you, And the second one, he did the same thing. But the one that was only given 1 talent buried it in the backyard, so to speak. And he undug it, or however you want to say that, forgive me, and said, I know you harvest where, or you don't, how does it, I'm sorry, I'm going to get all tongue-tied. You reap where you do not sow. I believe that's how it goes. And so he gave him back his 1 talent. And he said, you sinful, wicked man. He's like, I would have been better to put my investment into a bank, to have a return on that. And so whatever God has blessed us with, we need to use it to serve God in the most fruitful way. So is it fruitful to keep giving to someone that will not make any kind of change to their life, that will constantly drain you of all your resources because they don't have a handle on their resources? So that's basically what we're looking at here. And look, my whole life I've had a hard time saying no. I really have. I love to give. I love to help others. I do. But all the times that God moves me to do something for someone, I never have that feeling of not to do it, or should I do it, or I don't want to give them money because I want to spend money somewhere else. I never have that. I let God lead me, and if he says, do this, I do it. I don't question. And then I'll have a situation like this where, okay, the other situations, I didn't have that, but now I have this big, wait, and to see, how it is. And this person, I tell you, I don't know if this person still practices witchcraft. I do not know. But I know the horrible things that she has said to people like her parents. And I know the horrible things she has said to me. And for some reason, or even her own children. Oops. But it's just an ongoing thing. You cannot, change a tiger's stripes, I guess. But you can try to lead them in the right direction, and you can try to pray for them, and then you got to release yourself of being manipulated and guilt, feeling guilt. You need to say, Jesus, I need to place this person in your hands because I've done all that I can do and it doesn't seem to help. And if you could just, guide her and draw her near to you, or him, whoever it is, I know you can do what I can't. And that's a hard thing to say, it's a hard thing. And, if you're dealing with someone who is manipulative and hateful, you're probably going to get some pushback. And the only thing you can really say is, I know I hear you, but unfortunately, this is all I can do. I can pray, and I'm praying that your situation gets better. And, you know, I'm praying for you. But still, you know, leave that open door that has grace and mercy in it, you know, because God extends that in abundance to us. So this video is 20 minutes long already. I'm going to finish frying up this bacon, and I'll do a part 2 on the next steps. I love you guys. Be blessed.